What's up, boys? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be my first trade recap that I've done in a while. Saturday. I'm trying to get some momentum going, man, because it has been the dustiest day so far. A little Coke and Fred, not even a Coke Zero. Ripping the regulars. And yeah, last night was the first decent trading night that I've had, or the first textbook trading night. I'll go to my top step for you so you can actually see. But I don't know, man. This week I just made some stupid mistakes. All in all, my trading was good, and I can't really complain in terms of seeing my strategy presenting itself. But Thursday, daily bias was my key issue. Really fucked that up, to be honest. Done heaps of journaling and stuff on it, and then I came in last night, and it was the first day where it was just super clear to me, like everything was so perfectly laid out in charts, and I managed to catch a really, really nice win. So I'll run through it and then talk about what I could have probably done better. I missed a setup that I really wanted to take, and I was literally hovering over the button and I just pussied out of it realistically. Didn't want to put risk on the table. But this first trade was super simple. London lows, Asian lows, and just another draw on liquidity. I was sort of looking at all of these as just low resistance liquidity. And after seeing this bearish SMT, I really was just super. I don't know, man. I was looking for that distribution off the S&T, and there was my opening confidence for the day on the higher time frames as to where we were going to send it. ES was the exact same thing. Draws on liquidity are beautiful. We hadn't taken those out, and I pretty much looked at it, knew where we were going to go, and was just being patient with a setup. So market opened at 11:30, just prior to market opening. We created this bearish SMT with ES as the leading index. However, on the higher time frame, NQ was still the leading index. And after seeing like a sweep, a rejection, once again, super clear where we were going to go. Fuck, I'm so out of breath when I talk on these videos, man. It's absurd. I sound like someone on steroids. Yeah, so we see a CISD here on the 5 minute. That's my confirmation that we've come down. And after seeing that sweep, seeing another bearish SMT, super clear where we were going to head. Now, all I need to see is us coming into that macro and just looking for something sort of as a continuation confluence, because obviously we're super bearish right now, but we are really close to these draws on liquidity. And I was sort of looking at it, I was like, if we actually take out those draws without getting a setup, I'm just not going to trade for the day. But we ended up coming in here. We create these relative equal highs, and I knew that we had equilibrium resting right above it on this 5 minute time frame. So I held off all the way through this, and I actually just waited for us to hit that macro hour. And bang. That there is 15-minute equilibrium. It's not quite 5 minute equilibrium. That was the only thing that I didn't really like. It's sort of bending the rules on equilibrium for my strategy. Oh, fuck. All right. So you can see here, obviously, our low on the 5 minute time frames here. However, I take it from like overall that movement there is what I'm looking for, the 50% mark. It doesn't make sense for me to have my equilibrium here when realistically this movement, equilibrium is just halfway, man. Like I think you just take it halfway, and then yeah, it was sort of what I was looking for yesterday. Came up, tapped into equilibrium, took out these relative equal highs. And from here, all I was looking for was some sort of confirmation on the 1 minute time frame that we were going to move further bearish. And for me, is it the next candlestick? See how that one didn't quite close beneath those lows, so I didn't enter there. Entered off of that, and I placed my stops today slightly higher than I usually would. I knew we had this. It was just choppy Like realistically, if you come over onto ES, it was just not looking the best. I've been done a few times recently due to just chop. I think a lot of people at the moment are struggling with that. Just we get the entry, and instead of ripping like we were in 2024, it's almost like it takes a while for that bearish or bullish order flow to sort of flow through. So I entered a trade there, placed my stops above this 3-minute high here, which also happens to be this 1-minute fair value gap, just the top of it. I really liked this, and it actually saved my ass because a lot of the times I would usually place my stops really tight. But yeah, just from market experience over this past couple of weeks, something I've noticed, and in terms of draws on liquidity, super obvious we were targeting TP1, TP2, TP3. I wanted to go break even as soon as we broke below this low, and it took an absolute minute for this trade to hit, man. Like, we came down, barely missed this low, we came back up, and from here, through this whole time that I was holding, I was super confident that we were going to go bearish, and that was just because we created relative equal lows. Realistically, why would the market not at least want to come and take that? So for me, it was just a matter of sitting in the charts. I was just scrolling on my phone through this time. Amazing hack to just numb the psychology is scrolling on Instagram Reels. But we ended up getting a flush through at way later in the day. It took 12:30 at night for me to just sit in the charts and wait for this shit to hit. And TP1, TP2, and then I went to sleep. Just left my stops at break even, left my last TP down here. And if that had hit, geez, it would have been about a $500 win. So it would have brought me all the way back up to positive for the week. But yeah, I just went to sleep because there was literally no point me holding through that. So that was trade one. I got stopped out at break even after we came all the way back up. And then the second setup that I saw and I didn't take was pretty much a continuation play out of this imbalance and looking for continuation on that higher time frame and of my original trade. The reason I didn't take it is because, to be honest, I was being a dumbass and I didn't think to look at NQ. I knew I was already had risk on NQ, and so I was looking to take it on ES. Now, this setup that I do is the same as PB Trading. I don't know if you guys know them. Massive, they trade so freaking well, but I've been using this model a lot recently, and I've been having some real success with it. I actually really, really like it. So you see this S&T form. Obviously, ES is lagging index, NQ is the leading index, and this is what pushed me to go to ES to take the trade on. This is what cooked me. Is you see an S&T, I had my overall bias set to bearish, and I needed to see us close below the highest time frame imbalance or fair value gap on the previous movement. To me, that was that 3-minute gap. Oh my days, I can't speak. But coming in here, I was going to enter off of this candlestick here, and I stayed strict as hell with it, bro. I stayed so strict. I didn't press the button because we didn't close below it. We closed equal. And I'm sitting here, I've already got risk on, and I didn't pussy out, but I was staying super strict because if I had entered that and lost, that would have stung a lot more to me than pressing the button and then just not pressing the button in general. And so that was why I didn't take it. But what I should have done is I wasn't looking at NQ. Because I already had risk on, I think, I just cooked it. However, the entry would have been here off of that same candlestick closure, except we flushed through. All right, I'm back. Yeah, but that was the reason I didn't take that trade. It was almost just unfortunate that I already had risk on. Otherwise, I would have taken this one as well. Shorts off of this candlestick closure, stops up there, and then targets would have been the exact same as my previous trade. So Asian low TP1, London low, and then down here for an even better risk to reward than my original trade was. So pretty gutting to look back at that and see how much more money we could have made. We could have been up we could have been up a lot more. We could have finished the day probably about 800 in profit. But hey man, it just is what it is. I mean, overall, I'm happy with how I traded this day, especially compared to Wednesday was okay. Wednesday was just hard price action, man. Super shitty. And then it was pretty average price action on Thursday as well. Oh, I got a bad streak on Thursdays. But yeah, that's how I won trades last night. And my main issue on Thursday, man, was just daily bias. I was coming into the day, I didn't have a set daily bias because we were overextended on the higher time frame. So I thought that we could potentially flip bearish, and I just thought that we'd flip bearish as opposed to completely disrespecting this and flowing through bullish. That's Tuesday. Here. We were sitting in this imbalance, and I thought that we would come in here. We had obviously good draws to the downside, and the day before I'd also been burned chasing longs. I entered longs because we had ES equal highs, and I got married to my bullish bias the day before, lost a trade because price action was bad, and so the next day the draw on liquidity was the same draw on liquidity as the day before, and I think I pretty much just had PTSD, man. Like I just cooked it. I took one losing trade to the downside, and then I saw a setup for longs, so I took the setup for longs, and then I won the long trade. Oh, it was just bad price action. I'll run through it. Where is market open? I think I need to get my breathing checked out, bro. Like, it's not normal for a guy like me to be out of breath just speaking. I used to get it all the time when I had like an iron deficiency. I'm actually gonna have to get that checked out. But okay, so this is where we're sitting. Obviously, we have good draws to the downside, but the main issue with me is I saw that we were sitting inside an imbalance. I knew we had draws to the downside, and so I was looking for a short. And deep down, I knew that we had this draw on liquidity. We had we had equal highs sitting up here, but I was so burnt from yesterday, missing that and taking a big loss. And after I saw the market open, sweep this high here, I thought that it was clear shorts. All right. So I don't think that these entries were bad. My first, I can't lie, boys, I don't even know why I took this first trade off. I'm pretty sure I took it off of just a sweep, this candlestick closure here, retracement, and then a rejection. So I entered shorts way down here. And because I was looking for a higher time frame play, that was why I took it with such an average risk to reward. Or I was just sitting so deep, whereas usually I'd be trying to catch the move here. It's sort of like I was chasing it, but we had good enough targets down here to sort of make me play that off the higher time frame and not really care. But this one got stopped out, and I literally placed another trade. This was the correct trade for the day. We created a bearish S&T off of these lows here, I believe. Let's see it. Where is the bullish S&T? Here we go. So we create this bullish S&T. I see this form. I know we have good draws on liquidity to the upside, and I was so mixed between my biases. At this time that I placed this long, I was still holding shorts from that first trade. So you might say that's a bad psychology, but to me, I look at it, I'm like, man, you were just confused as hell in the charts. This was the right trade for the day. I believe I took this one on ES just because it was the leading index, and I think I took the shorts on NQ. So once again, SMT, look for the highest time frame imbalance on that previous movement, and then wait for the inversion of it. I took a long here, stops there, and targets for me were this first high here, and I also targeted this one here. Or I targeted London highs. But nah, I definitely took this one on NQ actually, because that London high looks way better. Yeah, I did too. So this was the trade that I took. Just the inversion of that fair value gap, stops there, and targets at these highs. And this is beautiful. Textbook trade for me, and I got stopped out after seeing this high get taken. I had stops at break even, and that was where I won my second trade. After that, I lost that first one, took a win there, and I was about $50 down for the day. I should have called it there. That was my biggest issue. There was SMTs in every direction, but I saw us create a higher time frame, bearish SMT here. We took London highs over here, but not on ES. And so I was a dumbass, scaled onto that 5-minute time frame and looked for confirmation that we were going to keep moving bearish. And once again, not bad, not dumb, I would say, but it just, I don't know, I just took too many trades. I knew that price action was bad, but I got another setup and once again played it off that higher time frame because the risk to reward was still good enough, and got stopped out on this one after waiting a while as well. Like, I sat here waiting for about 30 minutes before we finally got stopped. And yeah, I honestly, that day was just super average price action in terms of the higher time frame movement or the opening confluence. We had original bearish SMT, and then we had this bullish SMT form. We created another bearish SMT, and yeah, there was just too many opening confluences for me. I didn't have a set bias in play. I was trying to react to the market, which isn't bad, but it's just not how that day was supposed to be played, and I really should have just called it after that first loss and that first win. So that was pretty much my trading week. The day before, I think I already posted a trade recap on that. But yeah, man, overall on the week, definitely some things to learn from and definitely some things to take away, especially days like this. Goal is next week, don't even trade on these days. I believe the news calendar is looking all right. There was CPI week this week. But yeah, price action wasn't bad, man. I think every day I looked back and I saw that we could have potentially had a winning trade every day. And sometimes that's hard to look back on, but it's just firing me up, man. This is the first time that I've really decided that I want to focus on futures trading and just trading that New York Open as opposed to trading Forex. So it's exciting times, bro. I'm ordering a better setup as well. I'm getting a ring light, what's it called, like a little webcam as well. And so I'm going to be back posting more trade recaps for you guys and just really trying to sort of lock into this new trading. I just want to be journaling more. I still need to do all my journaling from last week. And yeah, but next week we've got no news on the Monday, no USD news on the Tuesday, no USD news at all except for PMI and unemployment claims. That is always a fire day to trade, I can't lie. Every time I see that, it seems to just be a really high volume but really good price action day. So I will be looking out for that. And then we've got new home sales and existing home sales. Pretty crazy week next week. Really looking forward to trying to put some numbers on the board if I can keep days like this and actually hit a TP 1, 2, and 3 because I keep getting stopped out after hitting like 1 TP and then break even. So yeah, hopefully next week we can do some better numbers. But anyways, thank you boys for watching. I know this has been a bit of a longer one and I'm talking like a retard. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week. No more videos coming from me this weekend, and we should be back on Monday, hopefully with a winning trade recap for you all. Peace and love. Have a good weekend, and don't go too crazy. Love.